It's gotta be the worst day for these overgrown chickens to attack this place out of all places. These messed up chickens, commonly known as beltos, might be ferocious beasts, but the entire flock meets a painless death at the hands of our boy. The awakeners who were supposed to handle these chickens are in absolute awe, still wondering what the hell just hit these chickens. As far as their understanding goes, it's likely another awakener was secretly dispatched and took care of the monsters, but it makes no sense for someone to wipe them all out in a single swoop without even showing themselves. After all, literally nobody in this damn country has the kind of talent needed to obliterate hordes of monsters in an instant. Well, little do they know that mysterious someone is none other than our boy, Kang Cheol-ho, the owner of the humble little restaurant that just so happened to be located in the area under attack by those feathered freaks. Normally he doesn't get involved in this crap, but since belto meat makes for the juiciest and most succulent steaks known to man, our boy just couldn't help himself. He slayed those monsters and grabbed a nice chunk of meat for the kitchen. As he's getting ready to prepare a new dish with the fresh haul, someone shows up. Turns out, it's a visitor from the Awakener Association, specifically here to check in on our boy. Apparently the association rep came to see if he's doing okay after the belto attack. Well, my guy's totally fine. And if he has to be honest, this kind of thing happens so often, it's just another Tuesday for him. The representative is relieved to hear there weren't any casualties, especially since most of the residents had already evacuated. Minimal damage is just good news all around. Suddenly, the guy's nose twitches when he catches the mouth-watering aroma drifting from Kang's cozy little dining place. The smell is so damn good that the representative can't help but crave a bite, if the restaurant is open for business, that is. Our boy can't say no to a potential customer, or can he? Once the association guy steps inside, he immediately notices how clean and well-organized the place is, almost like a movie set from some Hollywood drama. He makes himself at home and insists on seeing a menu before placing his order. But to his surprise, Kang's restaurant doesn't have a menu. The food depends entirely on whatever ingredients they've got that day. It's basically a daily special, and for today, our boy's cooking up belto steaks. The mention of belto instantly grabs the rep's attention. After all, those are the same giant birds that attacked this area just a while ago. All the credit, of course, goes to the great master Gamsanghu for taking out all 10 of them in a flash. Kang doesn't say a word about his own involvement. He just nods and thanks the brave fighter for getting rid of the menace. Those beasts may have been terrifying, but they're equally exquisite when grilled to perfection. Kang is sure his customer's gonna love the steak. That mention of steak gets the poor customer a little nervous. Steaks usually cost a fortune, and he's not sure if his wallet's ready for that. Meanwhile, my guy picks up a cleaver and slices even cuts for the steaks. He seasons them with nothing but salt and pepper, keeping it simple and letting the meat do the talking. While he's working on that delicious dish, let's rewind a bit and talk about our boy. Almost 30 years ago, Kang woke up in a completely different world. A cursed land swarming with ferocious dragons and flesh-eating monsters roaming the streets. At first, survival was hell, but he got lucky. He gained insane strength, enough to make even dragons sweat. Eventually, he even took down the Demon King himself. That victory earned him a ticket back to Earth. But to his dismay, Earth wasn't the same place he remembered. By the time he got back, it too had been overrun by vicious monsters. Still, none of that stopped him from chasing the retirement he always wanted. A peaceful, quiet, and serene life. After 30 straight years of fighting monsters and the damn Demon King in that other world, he was done with this killing shit. No more grinding, no more bloodshed. Luckily, the monster outbreak triggered something new. Ordinary people started awakening powers of their own. That spark became the catalyst for humanity's counterattack. With all these new awakeners safeguarding the world, Kang's involvement wasn't needed anymore. So, he opened a restaurant, became a chef, and decided that from now on, all he wanted to do was cook damn good food. As I narrated all this backstory, the belto steak is finally ready to be served. The food looks absolutely delicious, and the guy who is about to devour it can barely hold back the drool dripping from his gaping mouth. Bro seriously didn't expect to be in for such a treat until now. Just oogling the food is making him even hungrier, so he quickly takes a bite, only for his eyes to widen as the flavor hits his senses like a tidal wave. The meat is perfectly juicy, with just the right blend of spicy and sour. Well, it's nice to have the very beltos that had him running around all day end up lifting his spirits. He can barely hold himself back from a second bite, and soon, he's eating one piece after another until the whole plate is wiped clean. Now that he's done enjoying the delicious meal, it's finally time to pay for what he owes. Turns out, this guy's on a streak of luck. This restaurant doesn't charge first-time customers, much to the association guy's surprise. He can't believe he just had a 5-star meal for free. All his fatigue has vanished, and he feels revitalized from top to bottom. After such a good experience, he's already looking forward to making more memories in this little restaurant. That said, he still insists on paying for the pleasant experience. Since the guy won't back down, Kang agrees to take $10. The suit guy happily pays and before leaving makes a request. He wants Kang to stay safe. Times like these are tough for non-awakeners, and it's dangerous to be stuck in a place swarming with monsters. As a precaution, he tells Kang to evacuate immediately if anything goes down, and even hands him his business card in case help is needed. Compared to a few years ago, when this area was practically a wasteland, it's very good to see commercial hubs like cafes, bars, and markets thriving again. He reminds this Goldie chef that he's just one call away if needed. As the man walks out, Kang is left reflecting on how indeed tough this era is for non-awakened folks. That's why he's got mad respect for people like the association guy, folks who put their lives on the line to serve the public. Kang then proceeds to taste his own food, and the moment he takes a bite, he's thoroughly satisfied with the flavor. Night descends, and our boy is just about to wrap up for the day after a smooth run. But before he closes up shop, he decides to make some snacks out of the Belto eggs he brought earlier. As he's figuring out what kind of dish would truly bring out the flavor of this one particular egg, the door slams open. A guy storms in, not even trying to be polite, and starts yelling at Kang. Of course, our boy has no clue what this guy's deal is. From all the ranting, we gather that this stranger is here to claim what apparently belongs to him. To understand what's going on, let's rewind a few hours. Back in the Seodaman traditional market, tons of peddlers are out trying to sell their goods. Through the hustle and bustle, our boy is seen walking around, looking for ingredients to restock. Ever since monsters showed up, livestock and fresh veggies have become rare, so even basic ingredients are hard to find. Humans now have no choice but to explore alternatives to meet their food needs. But many folks are still hesitant to integrate monster meat into their diet. Slowly, though, people have started warming up to the idea. Maybe because this monster meat tastes way better than anyone expected, or maybe because it's dirt cheap. Either way, those who still refuse to eat monster meat rely on lab-grown food and artificial veggies. Still, nothing beats the flavor of actual monster ingredients, which is why the Seodaman monster market has exploded in popularity with its variety of widely available monster ingredients. One peddler is selling some fresh Belto eggs. Although even the peddler isn't 100% sure if they're truly Belto eggs, since different monster eggs tend to look pretty similar. Though according to the Awakeners Association's inspection, these have been categorized as Belto eggs. Before buying, Kang decides to confirm for himself. He uses one of his abilities, known as Detect Eyes. It's a skill he stole from a silver dragon named Canis, the ruler of the northern mountain range in his previous world. The ability lets him see the stats and info of any target. Bro swiped that ability while catching the Demon King, and to this day, it's one of his most used artifacts. A bunch of notifications pop up, confirming that only one of the eggs is from a Belto, while the others are totally different monsters. Thanks to this, he's now able to see through the scams of these sneaky peddlers trying to pass off third-rate goods as premium. As Kang finishes buying the eggs, one particular egg catches his eye when his artifact fails to reveal any information about it. Seeing the rarity of the egg, he decides to take that egg too. Back at home, he breaks open one Belto egg and cooks it immediately, whipping up a delicious Belto scrambled egg. The rich aroma and taste instantly bring back memories, those rare moments when good food was a luxury, and the camaraderie shared with comrades on the battlefield. The creamy and savory flavor from the combination of Belto egg and cowhall milk tingles on his tongue, soft and satisfying. Closing his eyes to savor each bite, Kang feels strong longing for those faces now gone. Then, his attention snaps back to the mysterious egg, the one his artifact cannot read. From what he knows about this dragon's artifact, their artifacts form naturally when they receive their powers. While dragons can influence lesser monsters, they cannot affect their own kind. That's probably why the Detect Eye failed, because this egg must be a dragon's. Well, that's gotta be some mad luck that had him stumble upon a coveted dragon's egg of all things. As Kang contemplates what dish to make from it, the door suddenly bursts open. That redhead dude storms in, yelling and demanding the item that belongs to him. Kang immediately senses something unusual. Just like that egg, his artifact refuses to show any details about this guy either. It's now obvious that this fiery stranger is a dragon. When Kang calmly asks him about it, the man explodes in rage, flames flickering wildly as he demands to know how our boy knows his identity. Kang warns him to calm down or he might burn the furniture, but the dragon insists on answers first. Not wanting a fight that could turn his clean restaurant into a mess, the restaurant owner admits to having the Detect Eye artifact, the power to see any being's stats, except dragons. The redhead snaps back, curious how Kang got such a rare artifact. Kang hopes this guy possesses the Detect Eye artifact too, because if he knows what this artifact is, it will be easy to explain everything. The dragon guy, meanwhile, finds it quite unnerving to see how calm and composed our boy seems while standing up against a mighty dragon. That's when he notices a knife forged from blue dragon scales. Though our boy treats it as nothing more than a kitchen knife, Then there's the cutting board, carved from dragon bone. Being a dragon, the redhead is absolutely livid. Using parts of his kin as kitchenware is insulting beyond words. He roars with his flames intensifying, but Kang sighs in tired exasperation, knowing this will be a drag. The dragon throws a massive blue fireball, but my guy calmly grabs a nearby frying pan and smacks the fiery orb away with a perfect home run swing. Using his godlike speed, he further rushes the dragon and slaps him hard across the face with the pan. The blow triggers buried memories in the dragon. That familiar voice echoes from the past. Back in the previous world, Kang once appeared before the mighty Dragon King and demanded his artifact. He wants to defeat the Demon King as soon as possible, so there is no time in arguing. At that time, this dragon dude was just a kid then, and his father was the artifact's original owner. When the father refused to hand it over, the son knew his family's fate was sealed, because our boy was widely known as Miro Lycus on the continent. Snapping back to the present, Kang orders the redhead to clean the floor properly before things get ugly. Reluctantly, the dragon grabs a mop and bucket to wipe away the scorch marks. While the child of dragon scrubs, Kang asks where he's from, curious how this fiery fellow knows so much about the Detect Eye artifact. As we already saw in the flashback, this bastard was born on the continent of Espan, a place in the previous world where our boy had fought the Demon King. Turns out this dragon guy crash-landed in the new world through an open dimensional crack. The mention of the continent of Espan jogs some fond memories for our boy, and it doesn't take him long to realize that the familiar monsters he's been seeing lately must be from Espan as well. Kang then introduces himself with the title he used to hold in that old world. He was called Miro Lycus, but in this world, he goes by Kang Cheol-ho. By now, the dragon guy is pretty darn sure that Kang is the same guy who messed with his father. Under Kang's strict supervision, that bastard finally manages to clean up the place like it's brand new. Since the task is done, our boy grants him permission to leave with his dragon egg. It looks like this child of a dragon has one question he wanted to ask: why he never returned his father's artifact after defeating the Demon King. Kang curiously asks who his father is, and the polite son drops the name, Ekmund Rex. Well, looks like our boy remembers that Rex dragon. No wonder this bastard's aura felt so familiar. Back then, this bastard was just a kid, child of that mighty dragon. The kid in question can't help but tremble when Kang urges him to come closer. Seeing him terrified, our boy promises not to hurt him. After all, he stopped beating up dragons 30 years ago. But the dragon doesn't trust him. After all, Kang doesn't look like someone who's aged 30 years. Kang then asks how old the dragon is, and the dragon promptly replies that he's in his 50s. In response, our boy reveals he's around 60, making him older than the dragon kid. Of course, the dragon's not buying it. Unless Kang is the child of an elf, no way he looks that young at 60. He's got a pretty good idea what a 60-year-old human looks like, and this monster slayer sure ain't one of them. My guy then makes the bastard fear for his life when he points out the arrogant nature of dragons, and how it can only be corrected with appropriate punishment. Naturally, the dragon doesn't like being threatened. He reveals that dragons do fear for their lives, and he certainly doesn't want to get killed. That's when Kang clears up a few misunderstandings circulating in the air. The scale knife and cutting board he owns were gifts. He didn't kill any dragons to get them, though he does admit to beating up a few. He never killed one. And as for why he didn't return the artifact, it broke during the confrontation with the Demon King, so even if he wanted to, he couldn't return it. He's really sorry for the loss he caused, but there's nothing he can do now except apologize. Kang then invites the bastard for a drink, but the invitation feels like an insult to the dragon kid. Sharing drinks with a mere human doesn't sit well with him. But eventually, the dude ends up completely wasted from all the alcohol, while our boy stays as sober as a monk. The dragon brags that Kang is the first human in existence privileged enough to share a drink with a dragon. Well, our bro isn't impressed. It's not the first time he's been given the title of first human in existence for something. Anyway, he asks who laid the egg. After all, the dragon kid's still too young to do that. Of course, the redhead is a little flabbergasted by the audacity of our boy to say such a thing, especially since male dragons can't lay eggs. Turns out the egg is actually the younger sibling of this red guy. Not long ago, a dimensional rift opened in their dragon lair, and his parents were out of town that day. So, he and the egg ended up lost in this world. It's been about half a year since they've been stuck here. He then asks Kang about his journey. There were rumors in Espan that he went missing after taking down the Demon King. He wonders if Kang didn't come straight to Earth, and where did he go during that missing time? Kang claims that he had something important to take care of. Once he finished that, he came back to Earth. The dragon's kin asks another question, wondering why Kang is staying in a useless restaurant like this while having the power to save the world. A human like him could take over the planet without breaking a sweat. It's kind of nuts that Kang hasn't done anything about the monsters running wild, and even crazier that he hasn't even tried to take over the world. After all, humans are all power-hungry, war-seeking, self-centered, selfish bastards. He still remembers how, once the Demon King was gone, humans immediately started fighting each other instead of enjoying the peace. Kang acknowledges that human nature is exactly as described, but he just isn't interested in that kind of crap anymore. He's bored of it. After fighting monsters for 30 years, he doesn't crave power or authority anymore. The Dragon Kid doesn't really believe a word coming from a mere human. Either way, Kang tells him to take good care of his one and only sibling. And yeah, you can really tell how much the redhead adores his sibling by the way he's cradling that egg in his arms. Not long after, the egg hatches, and the little fella finally breaks free of that cramped shell to stretch its wings and learn to fly. Kang asks the lucky brother if he has named his sibling yet. Looks like the redhead hasn't thought that far ahead, so for now, he's just calling it Hatchling. Kang follows up with another question, asking what's the gender of this little fella. The annoyed redhead says she's female. Seems like our boy is pretty fond of the little one already. A closer look at her shows she kinda looks like a millet, but with some tiny teeth, which makes him think dragons might be born omnivores. Redhead is clearly pleased to have such an adorable little sister to keep him company in this cold, unknown world. Speaking of worlds, Kang casually asks if this dragonkin has any place to call home on this planet. The redhead doesn't answer right away, which probably means that they are likely hobos. Well, from what I can predict, my guy is gonna invite them both to stay in his restaurant, only if they don't have a place to call home. In the other world, the continent of Espan, there was once a terrifying storm, causing the demons to migrate alongside it. In every gust of wind could be felt the stench of battle, bringing back nostalgic memories to a certain figure with glowing long hair. This person joyfully whispers Miro Lycus's name, recalling the last drink they shared together. Let's go back to our fun-loving little diner, where our boy has whipped out some majestic-looking hamburger steak. Having fed the steak to the dragon and his newborn sibling, he questions if they'll be taking their leave now. Of course, as part of his diner's custom, he doesn't even charge the dragon a bill for the meal, though normally it would cost $10. Hearing this, the red-haired dragon curiously jumps to ask if he also offers lodging services, which pretty much implies that this dude is homeless. He may be a powerful dragon, but inflation will kill you before a sword will these days. Anyway, Kang empathizes with the dragon's situation, understanding that the creature must be feeling isolated after dropping into an unknown world. Dragons are known to be proud and egocentric creatures who revel at their own greatness. But this kind of sensation of seeing a dragon feel weak and lonely, it's unique to Kang's eyes, and he believes this kind of sight would have the scholars of the other world going crazy. Anyway, Ekmund Rex's son offers a grade 4 mage stone, which is supposed to be extremely valuable even for the standards of the human world. But seeing him off a token like that, our boy couldn't help but mask his face with uncontained laughter. As for the newborn little baby dragon, she appears to have a black hole for a stomach and still wants to eat more food. Kang feeds her and thinks that living in this world alongside an infant dragon to take care of is an even greater trouble than just trying to survive here. In some ways, he misses the other world too, recalling the voice of the same person who he shared drinks with. A sting of regret looms over him, reminding him that he won't ever get to interact with the girl again. Despite his refusal to offer lodging services, he actually decides to do an act of kindness for the two dragons and allows them to stay for a couple of days without any charge. But it's actually a way for Kang to cope with his internal loneliness, feeling isolated all on his own. Anyway, the redhead is put under pressure because our boy is doing way too many favors for him to later pay off. Kang thinks for a second and decides to point his finger downwards, cutting open a dimensional portal that is actually used as his personal subspace. Kasim, the immortal goblin, greets his king after a long time. I have to say that this goblin is crazy and dripped out for being a low-ranked monster. Anyway, the special thing about him is that he can't die in the subspace and is the manager of Kang's dimension. Kasim respects Kang by addressing him as the king, but our boy isn't one for royal names, so he just keeps it simple. Kasim questions what he's looking for, imploring the man to request for the number of magic stones they have inside the subspace. The manager reveals that there is a nearly infinite amount, but when it comes to the highest quality magic stones ever, they have 5 of those and 120 of the normal high-ranking ones. Kang casually chucks the grade 4 stone to Kasim to add to the subspace, who takes it without any questions. He's just about to end his conversation when he suddenly remembers something. Meanwhile, the redhead dragon is out here speechless, because he can't believe the fact that even the top-ranking magic stones are nothing to this guy. Kasim politely bids farewell to his king, before recalling him as the ordinary Kang Cheolho of the human world as he leaves. With that settled, our boy gets up to task the redhead dragon with a bunch of duties for him to take care of. The scene fast-forwards to the next day, where we get to see our favorite baby dragon sleeping cozily, even when there's literal destruction outside. She's in a coma at this point. Anyway, Kang is really annoyed by her stupid older brother whose solution to every problem just happens to be shooting a fireball at things. Our boy's goal is to actually help the dragon concentrate his fire breath to a fixed target without burning their surroundings. He's got a skewer with a slab of meat. The dragon torches the meat to a beautiful color, perfecting what Kang was looking for. He's also pretty shocked by the kind of rapier that Kang extracted from the other dimension, because even though it's used as a skewer here, it is unaffected by the breath of a dragon. The weapon is called the Rekafel Shaft actually, named after the skilled dwarf Rekafel who put his entire life into forging the divine weapon. It could be considered one of the greatest weapons in the entire world. But hilariously, Kang's out here using his best inventory as kitchenware, the same inventory that people would kill to obtain. The dragon is a bit annoyed that he is inaccurately using the weapons, but our boy taunts him that he's still utilizing his inventory much more than dragons, who only collect but never use anything. From his behavior alone, the redhead concludes that Kang's personality is like night and day compared to a dragon. Also, do you guys remember the public servant agent from earlier? Choi is really happy to be at the diner again, enjoying a savory combination of food presented by the finest cook around, literally speaking. He's also surprised that our boy's already got a new employee working under him, causing the dragon to flinch. On a separate note, Choi reveals the appearance of a new and unknown dungeon in the underground passageway. Because of its appearance, Seodamun is recruiting awakened hunters to bring down the threat. Let's explore how a dungeon is formed or what it represents in this world. Kang internalizes that they're supposed to be storage grounds for monsters, acting as a portal or a gate between and across different dimensions via dimensional rifts. Now, that's actually the same way he ended up in this world too, which goes the same for Khan, the child of Ekmund Rex as well. Our boy inquires about the difficulty rating of the dungeon and discovers that it's supposed to be at the grade 5 level at the least, which also means Kim Sang-hoo and his team Zenkaku will be deployed to take on the threat from the Seodaemon's side of things. He's the same guy from the beginning of the story. From Sinchan's side, there will be Cheon forwarding with her own team. It's a name that not even our boy has heard of. But as it turns out, Seodamun is guarded by the Spear Mage, while the Sinchan region is under the protection of the Ice Witch. The closest reference to this girl's character is Esdeath from the Akamega Kill series for me. Anyway, Choi points out that a backup team is underway just for insurance. That's why they were on the lookout for applicants. The public servant agent expresses his own sadness. His heart breaks every time he sees a job post for a dungeon, but unfortunately not everyone lucks out with the awakening process. Only the best of the best are chosen for the job, and it's really sad how they've all got families to feed, and yet they can't join because of their ranks. In some ways, he thinks the unawakened people have it better in this life, a safe and steady job without any risk of death. Realizing that he's running late, he concludes the conversation and thanks our boy for the exceptional meal like always. Even more so, Khan is most impressed that his contribution is receiving some praise. Kang wonders if he should head out and purchase more Idaho meat to reinvest in the business. So he does exactly that, and goes to the marketplace for a list of ingredients. While he's talking to the butcher, Kang overhears an announcement to join the raid party. The guy in the distance resembles someone he saw back then. It's actually the Spear Mage Sang-hoo, known for being a grade 2 awakened warrior. It seems like Choi's words prove to be true because they really are looking for a party. Speaking of parties, let's talk about the assault groups, which in this world are called the raid parties. It's pretty similar to your average RPG game system, a format that Kang personally enjoyed back in his days. The world now resembles no differently from a fantasy game, and so the rules are easy to understand. But that's not the only thing. If you guys have played the recent game Marvel Rivals, maybe you'll have noticed an influx of DPS players and a shortage of tanks and healers, right? It's the same in this world. The damage-dealing roles are saturated and less reliable compared to the few and far beyond healers and tanks. Unfortunately, because of the saturated position of DPS class, not everyone gets to join the party. The scene reminds Kang of the public servant's words, who touched upon the miserable life of those who weren't exceptional and struggled to find work. But at this point, our boy thinks the guy should focus on worrying about himself instead of focusing on other people. Speaking of which, a random man checks his wallet and finds nothing inside. He sulks in misery and defeat as he doesn't have anything going for himself. Returning home, Kang is looking for the redhead dragon but finds him nowhere. The kitchen is spotless, which is good. Suddenly, the man from before enters his diner with a troubled expression on his face. He's even embarrassed to ask for ramen, but Kang is a good guy and tells him there won't be a problem. In his mind, he reflects how the tradition of using ramen as a cheap meal still hasn't changed from the 30 years that have passed. Even though inflation has hit hard on simple food like this too. Before he starts making it, the man inquires for the price of the ramen, causing Kang to reveal that it costs $2 only. This revelation alone brightens up the man's expression as he orders 5 bowls right away. Kang is pretty darn impressed that the guy has an appetite for eating all that food in one go. Sensing that something is out of place, he activates his Detect Eye skill, allowing him to peer into the man's intentions, learning that his class is actually called the God of Food. It's a really weird and unique ability at first glance, but it's not like our boy is unfamiliar with it as one of his teammates once had it. Basically, it helps you gain a ton of strength the more you eat food. The ingredient quality also affects the outcome, but one can make a shit ton of gains and get a Mr. Olympia physique if they keep on consuming high-level monsters. At the same time, it's difficult to get the ability to progress in the early stages, and it only blossoms into its fullest when consuming high-grade monsters. To top it off, you're usually always hungry, though those effects begin to subside after leveling up and getting better at the skill. Well, that's clearly not the case for this guy because he's far too underskilled for his class. Kang decides to go ballistic and serves an extra large platter of ramen with grilled Ataho meat as a topping. It's probably the kind of ramen that college students would die to eat every day. The shocking part is that he added the Ataho meat as a freebie from his side, reflecting his good nature, conscious that some people just have it really rough in life, which is also why they have a tendency to die sooner in battle. If the man shared a different personality, Kang was planning to ignore him completely. But with this, he thinks the effect of the Ataho meat will boost his power to some degree. Also, Kang shares that the first meal of the day is on the house as a custom for his diner. By the way, he's talking about Ataho meat and not ramen here. The man decides to eat a savory bite of the meat, enjoying its delicate taste. He can't believe that the meat could be tenderized to this savory extent. Next, he takes a large column of ramen and literally goes on to finish the whole meal. His mood lifted, he thanks the amazing chef for his kindness. He tries to whip out some money from his wallet when suddenly a bunch of stuff falls out. Kang strangely notices a necktie and collects the money. The man quickly leaves but promises to come again. Judging from his attire alone, Kang wonders if this guy wants to impress someone with the way he was carrying around that tie. It only adds to his understanding of how difficult a life is in these times. A while passed, and that broke guy stumbles across a gate while walking around. The dimensional gate hovers over the skies, causing an immediate evacuation of the civilians and barricades to be put up in places. The same man from before urges to join the battle as an awakener, but when asking about his rank, the poor guy stumbles with an explanation of his ability related to food. Unfortunately, he is told that they can't just use any average awakener to join the battle against a powerful dungeon like this. Even the best team members have returned with certain injuries, so it's not easy to allow just anyone. He's told to evacuate to a safe location when suddenly he notices one of the healers. This girl is actually his very own daughter, and he rushes to find her. He scolds Mijin for coming to such a dangerous location when her focus should be school right now. The poor girl shares that she couldn't sit around with the number of injured people around, which is also why the school mobilized some of its students to help out. But she's even more confused to find her father here of all places. She doesn't require his help and even lashes out against her own father when all he has is a shitty ability to eat and work. He doesn't even come home to check on her, and yet he's concerned out of the blue. In a way, Mijin resents her father because not only does she have to work to earn points for a scholarship, but now he was making her seem pathetic too. She shoved him away, causing the necktie box to drop from him. Mijin coldly reminds her father that he doesn't even have a weapon to save his own ass. Speaking of the Awakeners, the spear mage Sang-Hu arrives and concludes the end of the dungeon raid. The aftermath of the battle requires the healers to nurture the injured warriors, so Mijin has to rush to their immediate rescue, leaving her father feeling useless in the end. The scene cuts to our boy Kang, who touches upon the concept of classes while cleaning his blade. You see, a class represents a specific type of ability. There are basically 5 grades or stages to reach the top proficiency level. Now, when it comes to their country in this world, Awakeners are supposed to nurture their skills in a cipher school system, which is basically similar to a normal school, except it is aimed to help the Awakeners. Upon mastering the first stage of the Awakener class, one gains the ability to choose a second class depending on their own choice and environment. People can master 2 classes as well, but in those circumstances, they are generally treated as a higher rank by the association. However, that process involves rigorous effort, so it is out of reach for most people. Kang also shares that in the chance someone ends up with a shitty ability, the cruel reality is that they'll have no choice but to find something that specifically suits them. Now there's also a 6th class, something only our boy mastered in his final battle. From then on, he hasn't been able to progress to any higher class, concluding that it's his limit. Anyway, the redhead dragon comes rushing to find our boy, revealing that something significant happened. His little sister Kyul managed to utter her first words. Now the name Kyul is also news to our boy, but I guess Khan ended up naming his sister after all. He reveals Kyul's words. The adorable little marshmallow happily calls Kang as Papa, which is something that melts his heart. It's seriously cute, and also it turns out that the baby dragon actually named herself as Kyul to signify that it is a resident of this world, Anyway, the sentient marshmallow is out here repeating the word Papa, causing Kang to playfully pet her. He shares that dragons are special, because they're blessed with the mastery of a class upon birth alone. They're both curious what kind of class this little dragon mastered, and they're eager to find out in the future. Suddenly, an unexpected visitor drops by. It's the same troubled man from before, and he orders the same thing again. While Kang sits across from him, Khan prepares the meal. The man goes on to talk about his sorrowful encounter with his daughter during his attempt to join a raid party, revealing how his daughter is desperate to get a scholarship through healing the injured. Witnessing her work so hard broke his heart, and he couldn't even help her out and was told to evacuate since he's a shitty awakener without any noticeable powers. As for his daughter, she has an amazing healing power even for her age, establishing her among the third-class awakeners. Her grades are also no joke. The girl's got everything, and it's only a matter of time until she is recognized properly by the association. Back when he first came to the restaurant, he actually wanted to go to her school for an observation day but couldn't find an outfit within his budget. So all he could do was buy a necktie, looking pathetic but still doing his best. At this point, he believes that it's better for him to forget about the class observation. After all, he was a father who couldn't even support his own daughter. The man fully breaks down, expressing how even in this depressing situation, he's starving for food. Kang listens to his words with an open mind, hearing that he's a simple food-related awakener who has to rely on eating a lot so that one day he could be of use. Suddenly, our boy gets up to address his employee, creepily asking if it's okay for him to fatten him up. This comment alone rocks Khan's world, because he thinks he's about to get cooked just like the rest of the monsters. Kang reveals that it's just a joke, and also takes notice of Kuel's shedded skin. An idea comes to our boy's mind as he plans to make use of the skin, even against Khan's complaints, who was looking forward to using it as a memento. The meal is prepped, resulting in a mouth-watering Ataho extra-large ramen serving. The man notices that it's similar to what he had last time, and Kang is okay with him eating to his heart's content. He quietly observes the guy eating the food all the way until he's finished. The man pays him for the food, and before leaving, thanks Kang for being a listening ear in the time of need. As he's leaving, the wise Kang leaves a piece of advice that I highly recommend everyone watching this video to follow. Life is hard for everyone. He understands it would be more livable if some things were easier than others. According to Kang, the people who work hard every day always run into good fortune eventually. So, he encourages the troubled man to try again tomorrow, and that he'll always be here for him like a reliable shoulder. Kang gives him a nice smile and sees him off. Also, unbeknownst to his customer, he also infused the dragon's shed skin as part of the meal, so it will definitely affect the guy's growth later on. Khan is confused why he's going out of his way to help out a random dude. Caressing the little marshmallow's face, Kang reveals that it's because his very own father shared a troubled life like that, so maybe it's because of that. In the next scene, we find the same man returning home to find his sleeping daughter. He also notices that Mijin took the necktie and brought it home. The poor girl turns to apologize for what she said to her father as tears stream out of her face. He gently cares for her and apologizes too, internalizing how he is shameful for all of the things he's done and for the uncomfortable life he has forced her to live. But even after everything, despite his hardships, he still loves her the most. The following morning, he rushes to a job location immediately. He pants as the recruiter asks for his registration card and learns that it's the same Kim Manhwa from last time. He's the game who fell out and did a terrible job in the dormant section incident last time in the Yongdongpo dungeon. It's clearly going to be an issue if he does the same again, but luckily the Zenkaku team saved their asses last time, so any damages were prevented. Only this time, he just wants Manhwa to do his best. The gate is burbling dark energy at the top, while the recruiter commands the end of the recruitment process as their team is ready to depart. The morning is fresh and our boy is chilling on his walk when suddenly he sees chaos ensuing before his eyes. Even Sang-hoo can't believe the situation has become this tense. From the information they received, it is noted that a team of Class 5 to 7 Awakener members have entered the dungeon. But to their worst nightmares, a hidden boss has appeared in the same dungeon where Mijin's father went. Let's take a deep dive inside the dungeon. It's supposed to be a forest-type environment where Manhwa finds himself immediately attacked by a dinosaur straight out of Jurassic Park. Bro reflexively uppercuts the freaking raptor and kills it with one attack, pointing out how he feels strangely motivated and filled with energy. He's also supposed to be feeling hungry by now, but so far nothing happened. Suddenly one of the party members points out a shocking crack inside the dungeon. The ground rumbles with a heavy earthquake as the colossal Tyrannosaurus Rex erupts with a deafening roar. This monster is supposed to be the hidden boss. Hidden bosses are supposed to appear unexpectedly inside the dungeon, and only when a dimensional rift cracks open from inside. The horrific outcome always results in the death of the cleanup squad, which is what is happening right now as the Tigrex monster unleashes its fury. The guy's team is scampering away when suddenly, he notices mana crystals from the creature he just defeated. It's actually a decent grade and will result in a good fortune for him if he's able to sell it. Manhwa's desperation results in him rushing towards the crystals, which is a seriously reckless decision, because the colossal dinosaur is out to get him. The funniest part is that instead of straight up eating him right there, the monster headbutts his ass flying. With just one hit, Manhwa realizes just how shitty he truly is. He foolishly rushed inside the dungeon for the sake of his daughter's happiness. A gush of her sweet memories courses through his mind, all the way back to when he first embraced her. His daughter's words become the fuel for him to get back up. Dying here would mean that Mijin would be defenseless all on her own. Mustering his courage and strength, he takes a stand and faces the Tigrex monster. Even against the might of such a ferocious boss, he stands firm, denying the very reality of his despairing battle. Manhwa's indomitable human spirit channels through, and he focuses his power into a single punch against the creature's mouth, resulting in a surprising rank-up effect. At long last, he's finally evolved, and managed to stop the monster's attack too. No longer does he feel hungry or hurt. Even the Tigrex is shocked and tries to devour the human a second time by rushing at him again. But Manhwa's having his aura farming moment because this guy literally stops a giant-ass dinosaur with both of his hands. Though he's being pushed back, that isn't stopping him from losing the battle. Manhwa intends to maintain this position for as long as possible. The good news is, the Spear Mage and his party have arrived in response to the alert of the hidden boss. He's shocked to find an ordinary dude blocking a grade 2 Tigrex all on his own. Now that's called determination. I genuinely love the way this story isn't just about glazing the main character, but actually developing the side characters too. Sangwoo commends the amazing man for holding his own, and even intends to grab his business card after the battle. Detecting his skill set, we come to learn that Manhwa's evolution has jumped to a Shikshin class, which means that he's now more like a tank with the power of a DPS. It's kind of a unique skill set, comparable to Mr. Fantastic and Wolverine from Marvel Rivals. As for our boy Kang, he's observing the scene from the side, really glad that Manhwa was able to receive a grade 3 evolution. It's a good thing overall, since the Spear Mage personally helped his evacuation. Enough fighting, time for us to head back to the diner. Our precious Marshmallow is yawning with how sleepy she is, while the talks of the hidden boss's defeat roar across the news. Kim Manhwa is highlighted as the hero who helped his party survive. Resisting against the boss's special skill, he was able to break into an evolution of grade 3, achieving the MVP title in the raid. He made it into the newspapers too, and his daughter seems proud as ever. The Awakener Association also decided to reward this guy with a correct rating and compensated him with loads of money. Cutely handling the baby dragon, Kang wonders if she was busy reading the newspaper. Her weight appears to have increased, and she's still all the same about calling him Papa. Even though Kang denies it, the adorable Munchkin looks at him with such sweet eyes that he can't really win against her. The transmission talks about another news regarding a thief who has become a consistent headache for many merchants in the Seota Moon region. This scumbag apparently loves shiny things, and is responsible for stealing low-grade mana crystals at an alarming rate, to the point the association is deciding to step in. It's basically a warning to everyone to be wary of this thief until he's caught. Our boy is pretty amused by this news, and he's even more shocked when the little one brings him a cup of water to drink. I'm getting butterflies every time she takes over the story at this point. Anyway, Khan quickly chimes in to stop our boy from drinking the damn water. What's more, dude is wearing a violent aura for no reason, but it's actually because the water has a ton of germs inside. Apparently, Kuehl learned about the concept of water wells from an illustration book. And well, you might be thinking, so it's not that bad, right? But here's the plot twist. This idiot dragon can't differentiate between the toilet water and a well. Kang's face literally turns into a, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" expression because he was a second away from drinking that same water. The funny scene transitions into Choi's third visit to the restaurant, and he's really amazed by the kakdugi that Kang made this time. What's more, Manhwa arrives at the diner looking like night and day from his earlier appearance, and he's brought along a friend too, the same Spear Mage captain who has heard many stories about the diner and its owner. Choi stands up in shock and respect, while the Spear Mage is a bit underwhelmed to find an agent from the association here of all places. The agent is rather astonished to discover that Manhwa is associated with the Spear Mage. Also, it turns out that Manhwa has obtained a new identity for himself as the Shikshin warrior, who performed exceptionally well in a recent raid. From this interaction, our boy learns that after doing something commendable in this world, a new name is attached to your old one. Manhwa is really grateful for the kindness that the owner of the diner showed him when he had nothing. On the flip side, Kang expresses that he was anticipating his arrival. Like always, ramen is the guy's usual order. As for the Spear Mage, he wants to try the same. The meal is served and well, Manhwa obliterates it like usual in one go, impressing the captain with his appetite. He recommends Manhwa to head off to visit his daughter's school because it will take him a while to wrap up his side of the food. He doesn't want Manhwa to needlessly stick around when he's free and allows him a day's rest for now. So that's how the guy ends up leaving, while our boy is impressed by the quality of their healthy work relationship.